Welcome to a Starter and a Chaser podcast with your hosts, Joe Clarke and Jon Passow.
You've seen Terminator, right?
Yeah.
Cyberdyne's entire existence is based off of a time paradox, and that is never a great business model. Welcome to this week's episode of a Starter and a Chaser podcast. I am Professional Brewer Jon Passow.
I'm Whiskey Connoisseur Joe Clarke.
And for this week's episode, what do we have for the starter?
We have Sazerac Rye, straight rye whiskey. And John, what do we have for the chaser?
We have from Bell's Brewing Company, Oberon Ale. Let's start off with the starter.
Okay. John, have you ever had Sazerac Rye?
Not straight. I've had at the Grand Roosevelt Hotel in New Orleans at the Sazerac bar where the mixed drink was created. I have had the original Sazerac mixed drink, but straight, no, I haven't had it.
Do you know if that was the original location of 437 Royal Street, or is it different?
That might be where the current Sazerac bar is at. I'm not sure if it's the same address as the original one back from the late 1800s.
Okay. It is also owned by Sazerac, the parent company, which also owns 1792 and also Buffalo Trace. And Sazerac is distilled at Buffalo Trace. It was made around the 1800s and they drank it at the Sazerac bar. Mm-hmm. And originally the drink was made at the Sazerac Coffee House.
Yeah.
So, which is really interesting, so then they had that was where the first cocktail came out, was the Sazerac, and it was originally used in hot toddies. So
good cure for the common cold.
Yeah, really. It is 51% rye, so it's not a high rye whiskey, and that's your bare minimum for being labeled as a straight rye whiskey, as labeled here on the bottle, is 51%. 39% corn and 10% malted barley. So let's pick these up.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. Nice, almost amber.
Yeah, it's a lighter color, nice amber to it. Got a nice little kind of sunburnt orange to it. Not a super heavy drink. It comes down pretty quick.
It's probably it's maybe medium.
Yeah, and Buffalo Trace is known. They don't make like super light drinks, but they do make very oily drinks, as I like to call it. It's my personal favorite distillery.
My second favorite.
On the nose. So this is pretty much a point away from being a bourbon. So it really noses like a Buffalo Trace style bourbon. It really does. So you get a lot of, you do get a lot of caramel on this. Little hints of rye notes in there, vanilla, and tons of cooking spice, which is interesting to me, being 51% rye, that this much cooking spice is coming through on the nose, which that's because, like I said, this is pretty much like a high rye bourbon, to be honest with you.
Now, usually with the Buffalo Trace products, Joe always picks up on the nose a very signature Buffalo Trace note that he picks up in all of them. Are you getting that out of this?
It is not as strong as all their products, probably due to being such a high rye, but yes, it is there.
Okay, there we go. So that thread continues. Shall we try?
Let's try.
All right.
Yeah.
That rye, right up at front. It's not super spicy that I was going to be expecting from something labeled as a rye. And it does have that spicy note to it.
Yes, it does. Yep. And it does, this does drink more so like a bourbon than versus a high rye whiskey, because it is a low rye whiskey. But I like this personally. It's one of my favorite ryes, neat. Because it is kind of the mix between a bourbon and a rye whiskey, being that it's such a low proof rye, and I get those Buffalo Trace notes to it, and it's really good to me. It's a love or hate whiskey. Not everybody agrees with this one.
I've heard that mentioned.
Yeah.
Right now I'm on the liking side of it, not on the hating side of it.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of a bite to it.
It does, yeah.
It's not
this
super
is
hot.
90. Yeah, it's 90 proof by the way.
90 proof, okay. It's not super hot.
No.
I get almost, it's weird, I almost get a little cherry note to this.
So yeah, you get some of that stone fruit with this. And cherry, I believe, is labeled as stone fruit.
Yes, yeah.
So you do get that with this. I even get a little bit of, it's weird, kind of like a really kind of bitter red apple taste to it myself also. And then you definitely get the cooking spices coming through on this one big time. And I love that, you know. And this is something I always keep in my rotation for sure as a rye.
Now let's talk about the barrel here, because I get a little bit of a barrel note on the end. From the first taste to now my second or third now, it comes in for me very much on the finish. I don't get a lot of super heavy tannins, it's not splintery, but there definitely is a barrel characteristic on the finish. Where are you picking up any of the barrel?
Actually, I taste the barrel characteristics from beginning to end.
Really?
It's very subtle, but I get it from beginning to end. Yes, I do. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Okay.
So that's the starter, guys.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful drink. And leave some comments below what you guys think about it, because this is very controversial. A lot of guys see me drink this and they're like, oh, that's just crap. And a lot of guys are like, that's one of the best ryes out there. And I'm really into rye whiskeys right now, as far as whiskey in general goes. And there's so many good ones out there. And it's really hard to screw up a rye, I feel. And that's kind of the general consensus.
Do you think that's because rye can really cover up a lot of things because it is so powerful?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, we're going to be back in a minute with the chaser, but if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell. And by the way, we do have a Patreon account set up, so if you're enjoying the podcasts and would like to support us, visit us on Patreon. There's going to be a link down in the YouTube description, and we will be right back.
And we're back with the chaser. What do we got going on here, John?
We have from Bell's Brewing Company in Kalamazoo, Michigan, Oberon Ale. And you're going to be excited about this. This is a wheat beer.
Uh-oh. Look out, stout. Look out, stout.
We're bringing it back to wheat, what we all started with. So Bell's Brewing Company, for those that don't know, is in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It was started in 1983 by Larry Bell as a homebrew supply store originally. And then come September, I believe, of 1985, they started producing their own beer. And lo and behold, they are still around and are now America's 7th largest craft brewery.
Wow.
Which is very impressive.
Yeah.
Now, this is their American wheat beer. You have had the German Hefeweizens, which is the German wheat beer.
Okay.
So the difference between those two styles is the American wheat beer has more hop characteristics and less yeast notes. So this also can be filtered as well, whereas the German Hefeweizens generally aren't filtered. So they're cloudy. Yeah.
Okay.
This is 5.8% ABV and 20 IBU or 26 IBUs. So it's on the lower hop end. But what's interesting about this one, I was torn.
Why?
Everybody in America serves this one out of a pint glass. But Bell's Brewing Company, their website suggests the German style wheat beer glasses.
Okay.
So I am going to go with the company, since they should know their beer, and we're going to serve it out of the German wheat beer glass.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm excited. I've had a lot of these stouts and imperials lately. Let's see how this bad boy stacks up.
I love that sound of a beer being poured into a glass. Such a good thing. We'll put that close to have the audience hear that. That's a good sound.
Yeah, right. Refreshing. Like the summer dew.
All right.
Nice hat on it.
This is their spring and summer seasonal, so you'll see this everywhere this time of year now.
So it's got a little bit of cloudiness.
Yeah, not a ton.
Yeah.
Not a ton. Great head. Most of the wheat beers are going to have a very lingering long head. What are you smelling?
Let me get to that in a second.
Got to get past the head, right?
That's right. Finish.
That was quick.
Kind of similar, not as powerful as your Belgian wheaters, but I'm getting that kind of grassy, German wheat beers, the grassy kind of fieldy smell to it, outdoorsy. But also, maybe due to, you said these have more hops to it?
Typically, they have more hop emphasis.
Okay, so I pull a little bit more of the citrus notes out of this one than
the other
your
stuff.
Germans. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really interested in trying this right now.
Prost.
Cheers.
Well, it's the American version, so cheers.
Yes. Definitely hoppier than other wheaters that I've had.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's a nice mix.
Of hops and wheat.
Yeah, it's almost like, I don't know. It kind of flavor-wise to me is almost mixing, I'm pulling kind of like IPA notes out of it a little bit.
Probably from the hops,
a little bit. Yeah, so it's kind of like a nice mix between a wheat and that, actually.
Okay.
It's interesting.
For me, it's been a while since I've had Oberon. I'm just coming back to the Midwest. So on the West Coast, I don't believe we have much of Bell's. We do get some of their stuff like the Two Hearted IPA, but from what I remember, this is actually a little more hop forward than what it used to be. It used to have a little bit more of a sweeter wheat note to it. This has got a nice hot bite.
Yeah.
But it's not full-blown IPA.
No.
The wheat is there. It supports the hops. But I want to say the hops are taking forefront in here, and the malt is more of a second note to it.
If I blind tasted this without being told it was a wheater or a hoppy IPA style, I would believe I would go with, I'd be like, oh, that's like a lighter IPA. You know what I mean? I don't think I would guess the wheat beer out of this one, to be honest with you.
I really like it, though. It still has that summer refreshing quality that the American wheat beers will have.
Obviously, I do. I mean, I'm going through it.
Yeah, so. Me too. It's the danger of filming these shows. This is actually, drink.
This is actually a nice, definitely a spring summery type beer.
Absolutely.
This is where you want to go.
This at a ballpark, it's
my brother would like this. Tom Bell's Oberon. Oberon Ale. Tom, you like this? He's a big beer guy, as you know, also. So this would definitely be up your street here. Good
carbonation too on this, so which is lending to the head just sticking around. And just check out the lacing on that glass, man. That is a beautiful thing. Yeah, that is a beautiful thing. And I will say, is
that the lacing?
Yeah, that's what's called lacing.
So it's like the beer version of legs.
Yeah, it's the doilies of the beer world.
Nice
doilies and lace.
All right.
There we go.
That's it.
This week's episode of Starter and Chaser. Knocked out of the park, in the can. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Instagram. You can listen to us on all the podcast channels. But it's time to do thumbs up or thumbs down.
John, I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Sazerac Rye, first time trying it neat. What do you think?
First time trying it neat. I am actually going to give it one thumbs up and one thumbs down. And the reason for that is the complexity. It's a straightforward rye. It's not overpowering, but I also feel like for a Buffalo Trace product, which is your favorite distillery, which is my second favorite distillery, it's lacking a lot of complexity there. It's not one note, but it's not subtle at the same time. And I just feel like I can't give it two thumbs up, and I'm going to give it one thumbs up, one thumbs down because of the lack of complexity for my palate.
In its defense, I will say it's normally about $27.99, so it is on the cheaper side of drinks. That's what gives it for me. Two thumbs up in the rye department, guys. I'm going to backpedal on that a little bit, actually, John. I'm going to go actually 1.5 thumbs up on this one because as much as I love Buffalo Trace, this is one of my go-to cheap ryes. It's not my favorite rye. I like more complex ryes. I do like more of a punch-in-your-face rye. I want that rye to just pound through. That being said, this is well-crafted. It's a very good drink. You do get the rye notes. It drinks more like a bourbon for me, and I'm going to stick with 1.5 thumbs on that one, John.
Okay, that's fair enough. And actually, as for a mixed drink, That makes,
sure it's a great mixer.
a killer mixed drink.
I've
sure.
never had a Sazerac, so I wouldn't know.
Now, the beer. Joe, I'm going to ask you. Bell's Oberon. What'd you think?
Okay, so I'm going to give it. I'm going to go like almost 1.5, maybe 1.4.
1.4.
Okay.
We're getting into super specific.
Yeah, we're getting super specific. It's good. It's refreshing. It's a great summer beer. It's just, I guess, a little weird for me being kind of IPA and wheat at the same time. It's like they're kind of fighting on the palate there for me. So it's not my favorite. It's not my worst. It's about middle of the ground for me. But if I were to come over here and hang out all the time and we're chilling and you keep offering these, I'm going to drink them. Yeah.
I'm going to go 1.5 with that.
Okay.
And I'm going to also mirror kind of what you're talking about. Yeah. For an American wheat beer, this is fairly hop forward. I mean, this is surprisingly hop forward. And I feel like you lose out on a lot of the wheat and malt backbone that this beer I feel used to have. So because of that, 1 thumbs up. Half a thumb for the second one, but still, it's a very enjoyable, refreshing spring and summer seasonal. Definitely go out, give it a try.
Absolutely.
And tell us what you think in the comments. If you've had this one, if you agree, if you disagree. And if you have a bottle that you would like to donate for possible inclusion on a future episode, whether it's whiskey or beer, shoot us an email at whiskeyandbeer@starterandchaser.com.
Speaking of starterandchaser.com, that is our website. You can plug into the website, starterandchaser.com, and see all our different links for all our different outlets, Facebook, YouTube, and also on our show, down here in the links below, you will see that if you're not able to watch our show, you can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, all the major platforms. There's a bunch of links down below. Give us a click. Tell us what you think about the show. What can we do different for you? Let us know, guys. We're willing to do that.
Yeah. So, see you guys next week.
Absolutely.
Back to Terminator and Cyberdyne. Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, time paradoxes, they're very unstable. And it's like...